All right. How's everybody doing tonight? How was your day today? What did you guys all get up to? I've been doing this. Some of this. I am working on, shocker, another cube. I know everyone is surprised. I just finished up. Maureen, how you doing? What's going on? How's your day? You ready for the weekend? You're making earrings. Right on. I'm working on a bronze and steel cube. I just finished up my 30-pound cube, and I've got this cube I'm working on, this cube I'm working on, and this cube I'm working on. So I've got the height, and I've got the length and the width. I just need the height. So I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Getting some work done. Went grocery shopping today. Didn't want to cook, so I got some frozen pizzas. Only the healthiest for my family. Respect, you have more patience than you do? You know, it's all a grind. Just getting through it. I want to be doing other stuff besides cubes. But I have all of the rings for this cube. I have all of the rings for this little cube. I don't have the rings for this cube, so this one's going to wait a while till I have some more money. Probably when this one sells, I'll... What about... Kiss my bullets, how you doing? What about rectangular? I mean, you can... This is relatively rectangular. You can definitely make a few different shapes with... this weave. I've seen people do it. I've never tried anything other than a cube myself. I do want to... I want to take rings. These are aluminum, but I want to take rings in this size. And make essentially like an 18-inch long tire checker for checking tires. You know, make it about yay big around and put a handle on it and check tires with it. But that's going to have to wait. So, as far as, Maureen, as far as patience goes, the 30-pound cube I just did, that one was really a grind. That one tested my willingness to continue until the project was finished, for sure. So, big projects like that, they're cool in the end. I've still got to finish figuring out how I'm going to use a pipe display. But other than that, I've got... The cube is done. It's got all the ball bearings in it that I'm going to put in there. I blew your mind? Right on. Yeah, it's a interesting project to have attempted. So I have more projects in mind like that. Lord knows when I'll get to them. I am supposed to be finishing up all my projects. You have this shirt? Right on. You have good taste. So what I'm supposed to be doing is I'm supposed to be finishing up all these supplies and unfinished projects I have laying around in my basement. Supposed to be using them up and making them into something. Something useful or something to go on my windowsill. Anything other than them laying in a pile on my desk. And I've worked my way through several large projects so far, and I'm getting somewhere. But none of these 3 cube projects were on the list of things to get done. They just kind of popped up. Thanks, you like his old school stuff? For anyone wondering what 1043 B&M and I are talking about, this is a shirt from Bunker Branding. It goes to support the Fat Electricians channel. And if you don't like the Fat Electrician, or if you don't know who he is, rather, you should go find out. He's hilarious. So, got a lot of work to do. Starting a new job soon, so everything is going to slow down to a crawl. Basically, during the week, I'm planning on having my lives in the evening, and that's going to be about all the work I can get done on any chainmail project, which sucks, but my AC went out. I just had to replace the faucet. I had to replace the faucet in my kitchen sink. So my taxes have doubled. Inflation has doubled my groceries, so I'm going back to work. Do you have a chainmail for under your leather vest that will prevent you from getting stabbed? Nothing that I could guarantee. But if you're looking for something like that, let me see if I can find the website for you real quick. It's called... I think I have them pulled up. Had them pulled up somewhere. No. Did I close that page? Alright, hang on. Yeah, here you go. Try this. So if you go to Ring Mesh, their stuff is all made by machine and welded, and I'm not 100% certain about this, but I'm fairly certain it's the same material that they use in Neptunic shark suits. So if a shark bites it and do you not see the link? TikTok might not be letting me post a link, which would be terrible. Right. You don't see it. That's interesting. Okay, it's called ringmesh.com. www.ringmesh.com. Where can you buy a cube? Check Etsy, honestly. Check with, on TikTok, you can check with Astrid Wolfe. Astrid.wolfe. WOLFE. She makes cubes for sale. Wayward and Whimsical makes cubes for sale. You're very welcome, Sean. Okay. So, there's theringlord.com. From theringlord.com came, oh crap, now the name is eluding me. It's called... Crap. Okay, it doesn't matter. So, ringlord.com spawned a company, I forget the name of it right now, and they made machine-made European 4-in-1 that is welded, right? From them came the Neptunic shark suits. They provided Neptunic with the chainmail mesh for their diving suits to go diving with sharks. What about rivet mail? Ring mesh might be stronger. Yeah, I don't know. I think that the ring mesh would be a lot cheaper then trying to find someone to make you some riveted mail. It's going to bother me that I don't remember the name of this company. But anyway. And then recently I discovered ringmesh.com. And they have all kinds of little bits of armor for sale. I do believe it is the same process as the company whose name I can't remember right now, who provides Neptunic with their welded chainmail armor for shark diving. And so I think that would be a good option for you to check out. You'll have to test how puncture resistant it is, because I don't know. I don't have any information on that. But they themselves might. I know that a lot of police forces in Europe are using chainmail under their garments to protect themselves. So someone's making some chainmail out there that works. I just don't know who it is, providing them with that. So that's the best suggestion I can give you. So the issue is that if I were to make a chainmail vest for you, there's no standard that I can use to certify it, right? So it's not something I would be able to stand behind my work on, And all around it wouldn't be a good deal for you or for me, so. And I'm out of time. I got to try and finish this big cube before October 10th. That's my goal. Right? So, and then October 10th, work starts, and I will not have any time. Everything here is going to slow to a crawl. So, but it is what it is. Like I was mentioning, I got to go back to work because funds are tightening rapidly. And I don't see a future where I'm going to be able to get along without going back to work. So, not a decision I came to lightly. I put it off for as long as I could. And then when the AC went out, that was $4,000 I didn't have. Then the faucet went out, and it's like, okay, let me get back to work. So, but going back to work will give me the funds to do several things, and so not just for making chainmail down here in my basement, but also for fixing up some of the stuff in my house. Like my deck is falling apart. It was falling apart when I bought the house. It's exposed to sunlight, all day long. And it's wood, and they didn't protect it every year like you're supposed to, and so half of it's just kind of old and rotted, and it needs to be torn out. And we're going to put a Four Seasons room in. So that'll be nice to have. A couple other things I want to do. The Corgi tore up the carpet, so we're going to be replacing the carpet in the main floor with wood flooring. So those are all expensive things. So go back to work and fund those projects. And then eventually, a couple years, I'll re-retire. And I will come down here and make chainmail for the rest of my life. That's my goal. That's all I want to do. So, I suppose, for any of you wondering what this looks like, right, we've got all steel on one side, all bronze on the other, and then each side is a mixture of bronze and steel. That's the side I'm working on right there. So two bronze sides and two predominantly bronze sides and two predominantly steel sides. So it's a mixture, but then the top and bottom are going to be all stainless or all bronze. So it's a cool little color combo. It adds a nice touch. There's a lot of people that'll use anodized aluminum rings for their cubes, and they have some awesome color combos. And those people are much cooler and prettier and nicer people than I am. But, you know, I like to think I do okay with my base metals that I'm using. Oh, come on. Ooh, that's dangerous. So, in my left hand is a pair of what are called chisel nose pliers. And they're very pointy. Right? For anyone on the overhead. Very sharp. Right? Wicked sharp. And they just slipped. I caught my knuckle, just grazed it earlier today, right? And I'm petrified to slip on a ring and gouge the crap out of myself. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna happen and it's gonna hurt. So I'm doing everything I can to make sure that it doesn't happen, but you know, in this business, it's like riding a motorcycle. It's not a matter of if, but when. So, speaking of motorcycles, I was hoping to get... Okay, for those of you who don't know, I did the tops of my saddlebags. I covered them in chainmail and trimmed it with leather, and it looks really awesome. And the motorcycle is a 2013 Road King. It's a whole art project now. So I've got the saddlebags done. I'm gonna wrap the toolkit in chainmail and do a gas tank bib in chainmail and leather. And then I was hoping to have that done. Like once I got these two cubes done, that was my next project that I was gonna start on. So I was hoping to have those done by Christmas, but since I'm going back to work, now I'm just hoping to have them done in time for riding season next spring. How's the cube going? Amanda, how you doing? It's going. It is going. We are at finishing up 6 layers all around, right? So we're getting somewhere. It's like I made it to 5 layers really quickly. And now I've hit layer 6 and it's taken me all day. Which is about standard. So the next, you know, layers 7, 8, 9, and 10, they're going to take some time. And that is just the nature of cubes. Doing good? Why is that, layers? Why does it take so long? Just because it doesn't grow exponentially. It grows cubically. Someone had to explain the difference to me. Well, someone had to tell me that there was a difference. And I had to go look it up and figure out what it was. And I don't remember what it was, but it's a cube, and so it grows, mathematically, it grows cubically, right? Whereas cubically and exponentially are two different things, apparently, and I didn't know that. But yeah, cubic growth is very fast. It's not as fast as exponential growth. Renee, how you doing? I'm doing good. Doing good. Getting some work done, and anytime I'm chilling down here in my basement, working on projects, it's a good time. So, I got too many cubes on my hand. I need to finish some of them up. But a little grit, a little time, get them done. And I'm not going to lie, I was thinking about... Okay, so this large cube off to the side here, this one, right? This is going to be a pretty substantial cube when it's done, right? Like 18,000 rings, okay? I have been thinking about raffling this off for a long time because I needed the money. But now that I'm going back to work, the money need is not like a need, and it's such a large project. It's like I might hold on to this. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Why physically would it take longer after 5? Just because as you add a row, that's, it's just a larger number of rings the bigger it gets. Right? So getting up to 5 isn't really all that time consuming. And then 6, 7, 8, 9 and beyond, right, is just like this layer right here that I'm working on. To do one layer of it is like 2.5 hours. Right? You've been even to ask you, do you have any thoughts on brass rings? Do they leave marks on the skin? Yes, they do. They turn your skin green. Awesome for trim on armor. Awesome for, if you want to add some color to your pieces, it's a good base metal to work with. It tarnishes really easy, but it's not too hard to keep clean. So, have you ever seen or made Trinity Mail? Yes, I have 2 shirts from Trinity Mail. Manipulating that much material is also more difficult and time consuming. Yeah. Yep. So Trinity is like European 3-in-1. Hey guys. Excuse me. And it's actually, okay. I'd grab one of my shirts, but I can do one better here. All right. Oh, I almost had it. Okay. These are done in Trinity, right? If you look really close, you'll see that every ring has 3 rings going through it, right? It is a pain to get started. For those of you on the overhead, let me zoom in and focus on this real quick. Okay. If you look close, you can see every ring has 3 rings through it, right? Thank you, Mystic. And it's a pain in the butt. Okay, it wants to curl up on itself, and you constantly have to adjust it. Excuse me. Where else am I? I'm on Twitch, X, YouTube, and Facebook. So if you want the overhead view, head to one of those platforms with my username. I'm everywhere. But yeah, Trinity is a pain in the butt to weave. Wants to curl up on itself, and It's, you can do it. It's just takes some practice to get used to. The way I like to start it is I like to start with one ring and then work my way out into an isosceles triangle, right? And that seemed to be the best way to go about doing it, right? Is start with a triangle, and then you can change up your dimensions and everything. It's miserably unstable. Yeah, it's not fun. But I've done 2 shirts out of it, and like, it works. It's, excuse me. To go from Trinity to like a seam of European 4-in-1 back to Trinity, I did a lot of that on one of my shirts, and it turned out pretty good. I'd go and put it on, but I put my chainmail shirts in the dryer and they shrunk. That's what happens. Don't launder. Make sure you dry clean your chainmail shirts. Started off E4-in-1 stabilizing strips. Yeah, that works. That works too. You resemble that remark. Awesome name, by the way. You don't know her. Well, Manda, that's Rusty. Rusty, that's Manda. How am I my dad doing? I've talked to my dad, and I don't know what the last update was that you heard, Kevin. How are you, for starters? My dad has to have a pacemaker installed, and I had to go over a bunch of different options that he had available with him in order to make him feel more comfortable about it, because he was not keen on the idea. But he's doing well last I checked. I will probably give him a call on Monday. We'll see. See what happens. B by Bicky B by Bo. Yeah, I assumed the name Rusty Shackelford was from like a film or something, but I don't have a reference point. Koala, how you doing? What's going on? Oh, come on. I just assumed that Rusty Shackelford was your given name. Dale Gribble pseudonym. Okay. I don't watch enough King of the Hill to have picked up on that. Pocket sand. I think that's the only other. That and that's my purse. I don't know you. I think the only 2 King of the Hill references I'm aware of. I don't watch a lot of TV. Almost none. Qual, you're doing great. That's good to hear. Damn it, Bobby. Propane and propane accessories. Alright. So, Koala Dan, what have you been up to? I'm just sitting here making some cubes. Oh, what else did I do today? I went to the grocery store. Got some groceries. The family is fed. I have hunted and gathered and done my manly duty and provided for my family. So I was very pleased to hear, for anyone who was here last night, I received some bad news about my son being a turd in class to his teacher, just giving attitude. So after a stern talking to, all right, Koala, you have a good night. Appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, my son was being a turd in school. You know, just sassing the teacher and whatnot. So he got a talking to yesterday, and we got an email back saying that he was a good child today. I haven't really done anything today since you just woke up. You're in Australia? Nice. Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, have a good day, whatever you get up to. Dang it, Strickland propane. I'd have to go watch some more King of the Hill to really narrow that accent down. So, other than this, grocery shopping and cooking some frozen pizzas for dinner. Oh. You know, it's been a good day. Can't complain. Like, I do have a trap shoot coming up. For those of you who don't know what trap shooting is, it's using shotgun to fire at clay pigeons. And that's not this weekend. It's going to be next weekend. So next Sunday, getting the shotguns out and going to go compete. It's like you pay $5. You go get on a line and everybody takes their turn and it's fun. I've got 3 shotguns. 2 that I shoot with and 1 that is just kind of something that came to exist in my house. And you're like, oh, how does a firearm, how does a pew-pew just come to show up at your house? Well, somebody drops it off and leaves it, and they never come back to pick it up. Which is actually a really good thing because the person who owned it does not need to be anywhere near pew-pews at all, ever. So I've got that next weekend, and then later on that week is going to be my first day of work. And apparently there is a lot of onboarding at this company. That was the other thing I did today. I spent an hour this morning filling out paperwork. Normal stuff in background check. Sending in a photo for my work badge. And then just signing a bunch of documents saying that I acknowledge that I have received like HIPAA violation stuff, right? And for those of you who don't know what HIPAA laws are, they're the laws that require that medical personnel only disclose your personal medical information to other healthcare providers involved in your care. It is illegal for someone to share your protected health information with a family member or friend or a coworker without permission. There we go. All right. 6 by 6 by 6 on each side. And this is a full cube, not an offset cube, so like show you the difference. If you look, you'll see this side, everything's nice and straight, and then this side, the rings are kind of hanging out here, right? And they're kind of hanging out on the bottom, and then again, they're straight on this side. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because I've got the bronze side and the stainless steel side, and then a mixture of stainless dominant, bronze dominant sides going around, right? If I didn't do it that way, I would have stainless on top and on bottom, and you wouldn't be able to see the bronze as well, right? You just get this little bit that you have on each side. Sorry, you missed some conversation that might answer this. I am an RN, and so I've been retired for the last 2.5 years and going back to work, and getting back into new employment required some onboarding that I was engaged in this morning. Just, signing paperwork and stuff. I still got to go do drug screening, physical. They're conducting my background check right now. All fun stuff. Typical stuff to get hired. So I'm hoping that it won't interfere with me live streaming. Like, since I live stream in the evening, I should have all my work done by the time I get down here to work. Should. There, at my last job, there were several times when charting took well into the evening. But this shouldn't. So we'll see what happens. As long as I stay on top of everything, like making sure my kid gets his homework done and making sure that, meals are prepped. And thank you for being an RN. Your family is largely in the medical field. Nice. Chainmail is kind of weird in that even lengths end in different planes orientations. Yeah, a lot of times. It's like the way the wire is wrapped around the coil will affect large sheets of mail and make it curve a little bit. Like every little thing affects the end result. Once you start getting down into the minutia of how each ring is produced, you're the disappointment when it's a welding fabrication. Hey, I don't have anything against welding and fabrication. I wish that I had done more welding. It's like I did shop at one high school, and then because I moved 45 minutes away, I had to change high schools, and the shop and auto mechanic classes were all filled up by the time I switched schools. And so instead of doing continuing in learning that stuff, I didn't have any prospects. I was working at like fast food companies, and so instead of being like the rest of my extended family and becoming a raging alcoholic in and out of jail, I decided to join the Army. And I fell into being a nurse, an LPN, joining the Army. And I did 7 years, 2 deployments, and I got out and I went to college and just finished up my RN. But there ain't nothing wrong with welding and fabricating. I wish I had more skills in that department. Maybe one day. So, Like if this job will really work out well, I think, if I can still drop my kid off in the morning at school and pick him up without having to put him in aftercare or before school care or anything like that. And if I can get all of my work done in a timely manner so that I can still stream and work on projects. That's my goal. And if it doesn't, and I have to like cut back how much chainmail I make, you know, it is what it is. Right now the priority is make some money. And going and making money will hopefully afford me the opportunity to get set up so that I can do things like go and vend with, you know, my blankets and leggings and coffee cups and snug hoodies and all that fun stuff. Get paid, yeah. Gotta make it a priority. For a little while, anyway. It's like, I started streaming about October of last year, so I've been doing this pretty consistently for about a year. Couple off weeks, and you know, I certainly haven't been on every night or anything, but I've gotten a tremendous amount of work done in that time. But the reality is that I'm not gonna, well, I can't say that. I might be a really popular streamer one day. I can think of some things that would improve the stream. I don't know, like getting a stream key from TikTok, that might help. RNs were making big money during COVID era if they were willing to travel. Yeah, they were. Travel nursing, you make about double what your average nurse makes. But nurses do well in general. And the thing about COVID is like that was right around the time that I quit working. So here, I stopped in 2022, and I wasn't planning on going back, but this job popped up at the right time and it seems to be a good fit, so we'll see what happens. And I don't have to go back to work. I am just choosing to, just because of the economy right now, and my AC went out. And it's like, well, let's alleviate some of these pressures by bringing in some income, and then we'll reevaluate where we're at in a couple years. All right. Oh, my nose. My nose itches. It's like, I can't ever encourage anyone to go into the medical field, right? But being a nurse has definitely had its benefits over the years. I've never not had a job. There's never been a lack of employment during any time. People always need to be taken care of. So it's a nice feature of the job. But the medical field is it's a cluster. I'll tell you that right now. Made a friend fidget toy from mail. Had to explain. No one got rich from making mail in 500 years. Yeah. It's like there are people who support themselves making chainmail, and I applaud them. They do very cool stuff, very unique. They have like their own jewelry lines and everything, and they're very well known for the areas that they vend in, and they've spent time building up their business and making inroads to shows and audiences and whatnot. Cubes are time consuming to make. They are incredibly material heavy. Excuse me. And larger ones like this, or especially larger ones like this that I'm working on, right? It's going to be very rare that you find someone with the money to purchase a fidget toy, like this. It does happen. It's happened to me. It just does not happen very often. If you want to make money making chainmail, find 100 different ways to connect the smallest number of rings possible in the largest variety of colors, and go to as many shows as you can and get your stuff out in front of people. You want stuff that's like less than $20, costs you less than $5 to make, to include time and materials, right? That's from observing what other people do. That seems to be their method. Now they do make the occasional larger display piece, and I'm no expert on the business end of someone's chainmail business, obviously. This is just purely from observation. So, take my word with a grain of salt. Alright, 3D printing is making me very old man grumpy regarding chainmail. Yeah, for sure. Medical fields F show from all perspectives. Yes, it is. So, and actually that's one of the reasons why I was glad to get this job, because it seems pretty on the level. My last employment was really good, and this one seems on par, right? What I didn't want to go back to was any of the privately owned long-term care facilities in my area, because they're understaffed. They have too many patients. They try to mix long-term care and rehab, and so you're dealing with younger patients that need rehabilitation, and the really elderly who are, living there to live out the rest of their lives, right? And you can do that in a facility if you staff it correctly, but none of the facilities I've worked at in my area, would bother to staff the place. Like, there were shifts that I pulled 24 hours because they didn't have a nurse to staff the place. It's like, yeah, no, I don't want to go back to that. I would, if I didn't have a choice. But the privately owned long-term care facilities, the people who own them are not interested in providing for their patients, so they try to skimp out on as much as they can, and a lot of that comes out of like the food budget or the budget for supplies, right? You need a lot of supplies when you have 60 incontinent people living in your building, and it just is what it is. So I don't like those jobs. It's a ton of work, and you just get worked to death. So, but this job, get a company car, travel out to people's homes and other facilities where they're living, provide whatever care they need, and be on my merry way and do my charting on a tablet. It'll be good. For-profit healthcare literally puts a dollar value on human life. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to do for-profit healthcare where, like, hospitals and pharmaceutical companies that are on the stock market, it's like, are you beholden to your patients or are you beholden to your shareholders? Like, it's there is no good healthcare system right now, and like worldwide, just the way it's done. I've seen some cash only doctors' offices that don't do Medicare, Medicaid, and so they don't have to waste their time following all their rules and regulations. And so that's been a new up and coming thing. And if you need a surgery, you can get a surgeon that takes cash, and they'll rent out a hospital surgical suite, and you can get your surgery. So things are changing. It's not medical care, it's a business. Yep. And it's a business where the customer is the last and least considered. So, like, don't put me in a long-term care facility. Just, smother, place the pillow over my, place the pillow right here, and just, got to be careful what I say. And then, just dump me in a ditch somewhere. Do not want to live out my life in a long-term care facility. But even the only long-term care facility in the area that I have heard is staffed well and patients appreciate it and the diet is good for the patients is the county ran one, which is not a for-profit. It's not a for-profit facility. So that actually doesn't surprise me. However, the local VA retirement facility nearby, they cannot keep anyone on staff. I constantly see postings for job positions there. They don't have a director of nursing. They don't have an assistant director, and they need staff. And it's like, that's a state-ran facility, and not even they can keep staffed. So, I don't know. The outlook's just it's not good all around. My job is I will be visiting a lot of facilities from what I understand. But my job is to go out and treat people in their homes so that they don't have to be taken to higher levels of medical care. Keeping them out of the hospital. So, hopefully it'll fit my lifestyle and everything will go well, and I'll still get to be able to come hang out online and stream. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's not for forever. So eventually I will get back to doing this full time. And I'm going to keep making chainmail, and I'm going to keep posting in the Discord, and I'm going to, you know, adding designs to my shop, and it'll be fun. Come on. Where are we at here? Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Look at that. Time's fun when you're having flies. What is this, layer 7 that we're working on? Oh, my back. Oh, okay. So, if I were to make it so that all the edges were even, right? Then this side would be all stainless, and this side would be all stainless. But I'll be covering this up with bronze. And it's all, what this is it's a layer of stainless, then a layer of bronze, layer stainless, layer bronze, layer, you know, stainless, bronze, all the way up. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of difficult to realize that. Just because when you look, you can see the bronze through the stainless, and then over here you can see the stainless through the bronze, and it's like, what is going on? But it is. It's one layer bronze, layer stainless, layer bronze, layer stainless, up until it's finished. Yeah. I didn't pick the colors. So. Oh, here's a fun thing. Okay, so if there's a Jelly Cube calculator, right? And it's something one of the members of the chainmail community made. And you go in, you input how many, I think the smallest you can make is a 2x2 cube. And you can make them as large as you want, right? So I was in there. Oh, excuse me. And I was like, okay, how many rings do I need for a 10x10 cube? And I put it in the calculator and it spit out 5,149. So I went to my supplier, the Ring Lord, who did these rings, and they do their stainless at 220 rings an ounce, right? So what's 5,149 divided by 220? It's 24, right? Hang on, now I need to do my math. Clear. 5,149 divided by 220. Oh, it's 23. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. No, wait. Okay. I've screwed this up. Crap. 220. Okay, hang on. I checked the bronze rings. What's 220 plus 203? 203, right? 423. So what's 5,1? Nope. 149 divided by 423. 12. Right? It's 12.17 ounces or bags of rings, right? There we go. That should be right. So what did I do? I bought 12 ounces of bronze, and the remaining, I had already purchased an ounce of stainless, but I bought the remaining 7 ounces of stainless, hoping they would get restocked, right? Thinking that I would need 24 bags total, but I don't. I only need 12 bags. I don't know, something's wrong. Okay, so what I think I did, I think I ordered double the amount of bronze that I needed, and I have just a little bit more stainless than what I need. Right? That's what I think I did. Because, you know, judging by this amount right here, I have enough almost, you know, to finish this cube and then some. Okay? Just based off what I'm visually looking at, I have plenty of rings to go from 6 to 10. Right? And for these, I have almost double the bronze rings. I have, you know, double what I am looking at and think that I would need, right? So, I've been checking the Ringlord website, waiting for them to restock their stainless every day, even though, you know, they don't restock that quickly. I think I have enough, right? 5149 divided by 423 equals 12 total, right? So between the two materials, I need 423 units. Okay? Does that make sense? Did I lose everyone? Because it's difficult to explain, even for me to understand. I also might be very wrong and run out of all the stainless that I have here and have to wait for them to restock. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Always good to have some and not need some, then need some and not have some. Yes, exactly. Yep, and okay, so I have this aluminum cube here. This small one. I used to have a much larger one, right? It was, I think it ended up being 16 rows wide on each side. And I wanted to take it out to 20, right? 20 rows on each side. It's like 44,000 rings or something. Okay? But someone offered me a large sum of money, and I was in need of money. And I thought, hey, you know what? I'll make that exchange. So I'm starting over back at the bottom with this one. And this is like ridiculously light because it's aluminum. Okay? So I do want to make an aluminum one, right? And then if I have leftover stainless rings, I'll get a start on a completely stainless cube. And I will take that up, you know, I'll probably just set that off to the side and order rings for it whenever and just build it up as time goes on. So I'm hoping I have extra and that I ordered enough because I really don't want to wait for the Ringlord to restock because who knows when that's going to happen. They could restock tomorrow or next year. And I really would like to have this finished for the customer soon. Sooner rather than later. Right? But we're building the 7th row here. And this is only going to a 10 by 10. Right? Like, surely we have enough rings to extend it. I don't know. It makes sense in my head visually that I have enough rings. And that I ordered twice as many as what I needed. Or a third more than what I needed. So, we'll see. We will see what happens. Last thing I need is more projects, but you know what? Screw it. It's like I'm a decent nurse. I'm professionally I'm good. I'm skilled, you know? There are a lot of skills that I have had the fortunate opportunity to be able to practice multiple times, like PICC line dressing changes and wound vacs, right? Which are two of the things that I do out in the field. But I'm much better at chainmail than I am at anything else. So I'm going to keep doing this for a long time. Is a row considered the rings that are lined the same way or all that are connected? So cubes are counted using 2 layers, right? So if you have a cube that is 5 rows wide, there's there's going to be 5 rings poking out, like those 5, and then the 4 in between. And then if you have a, I'm trying to think here, that's an offset cube, right? It makes the edges all around really nice and straight, as opposed to like this side here. So 2 layers, right? Except for the last one. And that's an offset cube. And then a true cube, that is where, let's see here if I can, okay. Each, you have your nice straight edge across the top, and then on the other side you'll have the rings hanging like that. And there will be an even number of rings, vertical and horizontal, throughout that line, right? That's a true cube, and same thing, right? 2 layers per row. Does that make sense? It took me a while to wrap my head around that. Where was I working? Here we go. I don't know if I've come up with a really good explanation for that. But, well, okay. When I add rings to this cube right here, right, this next section will be the next layer, right? And once I built 2, I will have the next row. I think that makes sense. Or it should. All the cube terminology and the math behind it and everything surrounding them is a point of debate and discussion in the chainmail community. Everybody kind of references everything a little bit differently still. There's no standard to adhere to. There's no rules or regulations when it comes to chainmail. So you get some really funky stuff sometimes. So, a bit. So 5 across is 5 flat and 5 connected edge. Let's just do this. Remember, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay, so I'm beginning the 7th row on this cube here where I'm working, and there's 6 rings sticking out here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this edge is nice and straight, and this edge has the rings hanging off there, right? So this is a true cube, right? And so this and then that, right? Every other layer completes a row, right? And if you have an offset cube, then you would just leave, you'd stop there. So you didn't have these rings hanging off. It'd be nice and straight like this line. So, and if you want more information, over on Wayward and Whimsical's page on TikTok, she's got a whole discussion or a whole tutorial surrounding cubes. So, and she does cooler stuff and is better than me. So makes more sense. Okay. But yeah. Wayward and Whimsical has a whole tutorial, several videos over on her TikTok, and you know, she does excellent work. Come on. Pliers are getting in the way. So I remember when... so the first person to make a jelly cube was Stephen Hoffman. He streams as Cinnabar over on Twitch, but I haven't seen him stream in years. Like, he got a new job or something, and his job did not jive with his streaming, so I don't think he still streams, but he did. And he showed up to a group meetup of chainmail artists back in, I think someone said 2016, 2017, with a jelly cube. And after that, there were multiple discussions on the math behind how to figure out how many rings were in each one. And it all devolved into 1,000-long comment threads that, you know, I didn't understand because they are smarter than me. But it eventually came to a kind of consensus. And so we have things like the Jelly Cube calculator and, you know, some descriptive terms of the features of a cube. But like I said, there's no standardization in the world of chainmail. We're starting to see some. Like, all the chainmail ring manufacturers are including the aspect ratio. They're including the diameter of the wire in millimeters. They're including the diameter of the ring, the inner diameter of the ring in millimeters. And pretty much everyone does that now. 10 years ago, they didn't. It was all inches and, you know, a 1/4 inch. Stainless steel was slightly different than a 1/4 inch aluminum ring because of spring back, and but everyone has, pretty much everyone, as far as I know, has trued up their ring sizes, and so things are getting better. But there's no like copyright you can establish when it comes to chainmail, just because it's been around for, you know, 1,500, 2,000 years, something like that. So, there's no wrong way to go about doing it. Not really. Well, no, that's not true. I'll tell you a wrong way to go about doing something. Purchasing tutorials and publicizing the ring sizes inside the tutorial. How long have you been doing Long Time to Talk? Jeep and Jamber, how have you been doing, buddy? I'm good. I'm good. Got a new job coming up. Start next month. Got 1/3 of my errands done. I have 2 more things I got to do. I got to clean out the dryer vent, and then I have to mow the lawn. But how are you, buddy? Come on. Goodness. There we go. So I'm going to, I got to do laundry tomorrow. So before I do laundry, or before I start the dryer anyway, I've got to deal with the dryer vent. Now, I've talked about my dryer vent many times, but from the back of my dryer vent to the outward edge of my house, it is 36 feet. Okay? That's like out of code. I don't know how, like, the inspector did not mention it. Maybe he did. I don't remember. But yeah, from right above my head is the dryer venting. The dryer is behind me on the other side of the wall across the laundry room, right? The dryer vent goes from behind the dryer up to the ceiling, over to this wall here, and then out, right? And it's 36 feet, okay? The fan in the back of the dryer is not powerful enough to get everything out. And when they put the dryer vent pipe in, they left, they had screws holding the pipe together, and all that did was catch all of the dryer lint, right? So when I originally took it apart, there's a hole in my ceiling up here where I cut out an area to get to the pipe, right? That's not right. It's not right. I don't have any other way to fix it except to redo my basement. So I need to put my dryer where I'm sitting right now so that it can vent straight up out the house, right? That's what needs to happen. We'll see what happens with this new job. I've got a lot of stuff that needs to happen to the house. So eventually redoing some of the basement might happen. Like, I would like to have the furnace on... The furnace is right in the center of the basement, right? I would like to have it over on the other side of the house, right? That way I can open up the basement a little bit more and just have some more room down here. This area that I'm sitting in would be all closed off. It would become the laundry room. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll have someone come down and give me a quote. But doing things like redoing my kitchen, getting a Four Seasons room on the back of the house, and none of this is going to happen tomorrow. Right? Oh, I need a new roof. Wouldn't you know it? So, and I need a bunch of new windows. And my house is not old. It's 20 years old. It'll be 20 years old next year, something like that. So it's not old, but it was... Like, some of the stuff the builder used, like the windows, not great. Should be 5 feet. Head dryer just like that. You move it to a window, it runs way better now. Yeah, it's a major flame risk. You could use a leaf blower to blow out the vent. Ooh, that's actually a better idea than what I had in mind. That's a good idea. I will remember that tomorrow. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Okay, so fun fact. There's a bathroom down here in the basement, right? And the bathroom and the laundry room share a wall. Well, there was a hole in the wall in the bathroom that looked where the pipe was in the wall for the dryer. And when we bought the house, we didn't notice this, the inspector didn't notice, that pipe had broken and was just dumping lint into the wall. That was super fun. But yeah, totally sketchy, totally hazardous. I don't like it. something I would like to fix one day. Okay, and I can tear down a wall and run a pipe and bring the dryer over here, right? And it's a gas dryer, so I can run the gas pipe over here and bring the dryer over and run a vent, you know, put it through the vent right outside, right? What I can't do is rebuild everything and make it look nice. You know, not without 100 trips to Lowe's and 10,000 hours on YouTube, and it's one of those things where I'm out of my element and I'd rather just pay someone. It's like you are responsible for making this look nice. If it doesn't come out, you can use it to get a bristle blush on a snake. I have a tool to go most of the distance of like from this outside wall here almost all the way over to where it turns to go down to the dryer. Gas dryers are a thing. Yeah, up in the Great White North, the frozen tundra of Wisconsin. I can't complain. We had a pretty good year last year and this year so far. Knock on wood. But yeah, we have gas stoves, gas fireplaces, gas ovens, gas dryers. Go outside or inside as far as you can. Yeah. So when I had to replace the dryer venting, I just threw PVC pipe up there. And I can go from the middle area all the way outside, and then the middle area all the way almost back over to the dryer. So, and then I can just pop it off by the dryer and get a tube in there. And there's a hole in my ceiling in the laundry room where I cut it open to do all this. And I've been meaning to fix it for a long time, but I have not. It's like I said, I can tear it apart. I can make it work. It's not going to look good. So, dead. I just woke up from a post-work nap. Spent the whole day breaking down bad pallets so we could use the good pieces of wood in the shop. Nice. Right on. Hope you enjoyed your nap. I took a nap today. We had some Burger King coupons, and that's what I had for lunch today. Like, I don't typically eat Burger King, but it was a okay deal. And I got onion rings, which I don't usually get onion rings. Not so much. It was a hot nap. Buddy, I went through that all last week where my AC was out. Not last week, week before last. And it was just hot and humid and all the windows were open. It was like 74, 75. It wasn't that hot outside. It was much nicer outside. But we had all the windows open 2 weeks ago when my AC was out. And we had fans blowing air through the house. All the ceiling fans were on. And you could not get the house cooled off. It was awful. It got hot in my basement. This is the coldest part of my house. It's the most comfortable part of my house year round, right? If it gets too cold, I got a gas fireplace over here I can turn on. And it got hot down here. So hot that I just stopped streaming that week because it was miserable. It wasn't as bad as the time we had the power outage. But it was just humid and hot and you couldn't sleep. It was awful. So hot naps are no fun, for sure. But hopefully we don't have that problem. For a $4,200 new AC unit, wow, that's really loud music. Why is it so loud? the $4,200 new AC unit should last for a good long time. So it's like I got a list of stuff that we want to do, and me going back to work will help pay for it. But like get the ducts cleaned, want to do that, right? The house needs to be painted. My wife wants, well, I want to redo the kitchen because the cabinets are cheap, crappy, ugly cabinets. And there's better quality stuff out there. And so I want the kitchen redone. And new, not acrylic, what's the word? I don't want stone countertops, like faux. I want fake looking stone. Okay? Because people who have like fancy concrete countertops or marble or granite, you got to rub beeswax all over it and maintain it and everything. And I'm not that kind of person. Okay? I built a 240 square foot deck on the back of my house down in Texas, and you have to strip and stain decks to maintain them. And I am not about that. So whatever Four Seasons deck outdoor area we have built onto the house, that's all going to be faux wood, the plastic wood stuff. I'm not stripping and maintaining nothing. You wish you could open your window at the in-laws, the screen is missing? Oh no, haven't figured out how to replace it yet. I'm sure it's easy, just haven't had a chance to figure it out. And 83, oh, that's rough. Composite laminate countertop, there we go. Yeah, I know that they exist. I don't, mine's a cheap something, and it's got nicks all over in it, and like it's a nice large house. Okay, but all of the trim on the main floors is plastic, and it looks terrible, right? All the doors are hollow. Let's see here, like it's a nice house, and then just a lot of cheap stuff inside. It's like, okay, we need to upgrade all of that. And then I need to figure out what I want to do with my walls. I don't paint. So I need new trim work around all of the windows and the floors. And then I don't know, some kind of wall theme throughout the house. Because I have done the paint thing, and I'm not interested at all in ever doing that again. So, obviously some stuff is going to be painted, but as much as I can not have it painted. So, a lot of upgrades for the house that we need to do, and I don't know, we'll see what we can get done. It's like I'm not making millions of dollars or anything. But it'll be good. You know, get back to work, polish up the skills, fund a couple of these projects. So I just replaced the faucet in the kitchen, right, because it was leaking pretty badly. And I really wish that I had grabbed a sink while I was out at Lowe's. Just because the sink needs to be replaced, and it's like, okay, forget it. I want I want a backsplash, new kitchen counters, new cabinets, all that. I'll get a new sink then. It's gonna be fine. Your grandma has marble and you never put anything on it and it still looks new. Right on. I'm not against stone or anything, granite or marble or whatever. It's beautiful. It looks good, I'm against maintaining it. If I have to do something to take care of it outside of like wipe it off with something, keep it clean from debris, yeah, I'm not doing that. It's like if I have a carpet and I have to treat it with special stuff, I'm going to get the carpet that I don't have to treat with special stuff, and I can just vacuum. You know what I mean? Like, life is way too short, to be stripping and restaining a deck every year. No, I have more important things to do. Props to the people who do that stuff. But it's like yard work, okay? We have a yard 4 months, 5 months out of the year before it, gets too cold and it all freezes over. Excuse me. And there are people who, it's all they do all day is they go out and they work on their lawn, and their lawns look tremendous. Okay, it's awesome. I am not one of those people. It can all turn to dirt for all I care. Right? I'm not going to go... I'll keep it presentable for the neighborhood. But, Oh, man. I'm not going to spend every day out there making sure that everything is trim and nice and neat and whatnot. So... Don't remember if I told you, but you tried promoting a TikTok. You were offered 45% off, but you would say it wasn't worth it. Yeah, I don't... Yeah. I don't want to give any more money to these platforms. Any of them. I've advertised on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and... it is what it is. It's really difficult to advertise a niche thing like chainmail. There are people out there who like chainmail, and they like chainmail themed apparel and accessories, right? They exist. Yeah. It's really hard to target them on these platforms. So I don't do it. I stream to get people to follow me and to teach people about chainmail so that when they become addicted to making stuff out of little metal rings, they'll want to rep it all the time, and they'll come to my store and they'll buy my stuff. They'll get themselves like a giant snug hoodie and they'll wear it around because they don't want to wear a chainmail shirt all day. But a giant snug hoodie, super comfortable, super warm. Yeah, they'll totally wear that. And it's got chainmail all over it. And that's my evil plan. Also, you're going to pour plaster on to make the sturdy vacuum forming bucket for your helmet visor. Nice. So, and it's kind of worked. I definitely built an audience on Instagram and TikTok this way. So it's kind of working. I hate to pull back from it just to have to go back to work. But also, I don't know, I just spent the last 20 minutes talking about stuff that needs to happen to my house. None of it's not none of it. Some of it is essential that it happen, but Like, I do need a new roof. But if I don't change out my countertops for a while, that's not going to be the end of the world. They're just wants, mostly. I do need a new deck at a minimum. Maybe not a Four Seasons room. So we'll see about that one. All right. Working on layer number 7. It's like just visually looking at the supplies I have on hand, I'm like, yeah, I can go out to layer 10 easy. Right? How much does this weigh? How much weight have we got in here? I think the other day it was like 4 ounces or something. Zero ounce. 6.9 ounces, so about 7 ounces. Right? Which, if it's 12 ounces total for 5,149 rings, 7 ounces makes sense if we're starting on the 7th layer. It's not like an ounce per layer or anything. Just means that, 12 ounces per total per 10 by 10 by 10 cube, right? That adds up. I think we're good. All right. I think I have enough supplies. Awesome. Which means I can make a little bit more. Which means I ordered more than I needed. But it's already open. I can't return it. I'll just have to use it. Probably for a cube. I'm tired of making cubes. Where are we at here? 9:40. I was good at Tech Hog. And nice catch up. All right, Jeeb and Jammer, you have a wonderful evening. Hope everything gets settled for you. Good luck on the visor project. Thanks for stopping by. Always good to see you. Okay. So I was hoping to use the chainmail that I sell to purchase the tools that I want. And I've had so many, like a lot of the stuff that I'm making, because it's old projects laying around and I'm using up supplies on hand, like it's not really stuff for sale necessarily. It's like old personal projects, right? So I've done a lot of that. So I dodged a lot of commissions just because I don't have the supplies on hand to make a lot of the stuff people request. I've taken some. Like, if someone asks me to make something, I'll check and see if I have rings to make it. But if I don't, I'll try to point them in the direction of someone I know who does take commissions routinely, because I'm largely just not set up for it. So I've turned away a lot of commissions, and trying to avoid getting into that, because here's what happens. I spend hours working on a commission when I should be working on taking care of all this mess that I have, right? And granted, I have gotten some of that cleaned up and done. I need to do more. I need to, and I've said this a lot over the last year. It's like, I really need to finish up all the old stuff I have in my basement before I take on new projects. But what do I routinely do over and over again? I take on new projects. Like these 3 cubes I'm working on. Ta-da! All stuff I shouldn't be working on. I mean, there's no reason I can't, just this self-imposed. I need to get my own stuff done. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. And the share. Oh, wrong ring. All right, is anybody a part of the creator program on TikTok? I'm trying to figure out. I need to figure out how to join. If only to add a link to my Linktree back onto my profile. It was there, now it's not there. I'll get it figured out. But I read some mixed reviews about the Creator Fund. I don't... Like, okay, yeah, I'd love to make cool videos for TikTok to make content, right? I'd love to be that creative and fun. I'm not, and... I think that you have to make videos over 1 minute long, and they have to be like a minimum of once a week. So I need to go and figure that out. All I really want to do is put a link to my Linktree back in my profile, right? But to do that, I got to do all this extra work. It's like I had a TikTok shop with my stuff from my store in it, and I've explained this before. Every time I integrate with a platform like Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or TikTok, it always just ends up being a headache on the back end and not worth it. So I took that down, and I closed the business account because I didn't sell a single thing through there after... I don't know, like 9 months or something. Just wasn't worth having up. So I took that down, and then that took away my business link, so I gotta figure out a way to put that up there. Where all my socials and the Mailworks app and all that fun stuff is. But I got to go and investigate what the requirements are and see if I can meet them while still working full-time and doing all that stuff. And what else is going on? I don't know. Come on. Whoo, buddy. Give me a second here. Okay. I've got like the bronze side and then the mostly bronze sides here, and then the stainless side and the mostly stainless sides here. And it's a nice transition from one to the next, right? It's kind of cool. Oh, I was thinking about a project today. Here's a multi-thousand ring project I was thinking about. So I have these two cubes, and they're interlocked with each other, right? They're woven together, and I've always wanted to make that a bigger project. And I was thinking, what if I did multiple interlocked cubes, and did a color gradient? So it'd be like 40 interlocked cubes, and from one corner to the other you just do this color shift. That would be, it'd have to be anodized aluminum. Well, I guess you could do it in titanium. Titanium would be super expensive. Anodized aluminum would be more reasonable, and it's a static piece, so you could definitely do anodized aluminum. But each cube would be very expensive. It'd be a very expensive project, but it's something I want to try. And just make this large square of these interlocked cubes, and it actually wouldn't be individual cubes. It's like Japanese 4-in-1 woven through itself kind of deal, right? I don't know. I think it'd be a cool project, but I have neither the time nor money to do something like that right now. Actually, no. I should write that down, though. That'd be a cool one. Hopefully, I will read this later and remember what my thought on it was. Sometimes I write stuff down and I'm like, yeah, I don't remember what I was thinking when I wrote that down. That would be beautiful. I think so. I think it'd be very cool. It'd be heavy. But, you know, you'd mount it to a board somehow and put a frame around it. I'd have to know, like, it wouldn't be hard. Hang on. Let me go grab my interlocking cubes, and I'll kind of expand on this. So, these are two cubes that are hollow, and they're woven together, right? Like in there, you can see the bronze in there. And in there you can see the brass in there, right? They are woven together, woven around each other. Now, how do you keep that going, right? So the bronze would come out here and the brass would come out here, and you'd move on to the next set of cubes. And you could do this, I think, you know, all the way from like the corner of, you know, a large frame thing down to the other corner with different colors, right? Does this help visualize what I'm saying? Multiples of these woven together, right? Like, think of this: 5, 10, 6 across, 5, 6 down, right? It'd be a huge undertaking to do it. Ugh. It'd be cool, though. Maybe one day. Cubeception, yeah. Like it would kind like it's difficult enough for your eye to follow kind of how this works, right? And if you had enough of these with a color shift, you know, from across a large enough frame, you know, that'd be cool. I think it, you know, the closest thing to a like a hallucination I think I could envision that you could make with chainmail. Yeah. I've got some ideas, and these are big projects, and they will take a long time, but I just finished a 30-pound cube, and that took me a very long time. And so, like, once I get caught up on finances and house stuff, you know, I will probably retire and then live off my VA pay and do this full time. Oh, you know, I need to write something down. There's another idea I had. Where's my list of stuff? I need to make a new list. And that one actually is that idea. I can use a whole bunch of different weaves to try that one. And I can't tell you what it is until I start working on it. So follow along, stay tuned for the next several years. And eventually we'll get to some of these ideas. But there is a technique. Okay, everybody's seen the movie Inception with who's it? Is it Chow Yun-fat? Leonardo no, it's not. It's what's his name? It's got Leonardo DiCaprio in it, and he plays a guy who enters other people's dreams and implants ideas in their heads. So it's like a lot of dreams within dreams kind of situation, right? Well, I have a lot of ideas for using small rings to make big rings, and in the chainmail community, we call that ringception, right? And I just did a cube using that very technique. And I have some more ideas for what I want to do. I would like to make 10 to 15 really large pieces that are stable on their own. And one day, take them to a metal art gallery and put them up for sale. That's my goal. It's one of the reasons why I could never do the whole make the same thing over and over to make sure I have stock of all the right stuff that I know will sell, and then have some experimental pieces. like a lot of the vendors that I know who make chainmail do. And I respect the hustle. It's just not something I want to do. I want chainmail to be fun, and I want to make a lot of cool stuff with it. I don't want to be making the same thing over and over again. Now, I do have some stuff that I make a lot of, like my bracelets and whatnot, and I have some necklaces lined up to make that I will eventually get to. But outside of those, and maybe a few more other designs, I don't want to copy them. You know, their business model. So we'll see. Got to get these cubes done first. It's like I'm hoping we're starting layer 7 right now. And that's another thing too. Like, I realize that not a lot of people are going to hang out and watch me stream making chainmail. It's not, especially with like you have here. Nope, don't do that. No, don't do that. Dang it. I just screwed up my camera. Okay. Sorry, everyone. There we go. You definitely have a better view of what I'm doing over on the overhead camera, and you can kind of see it on here, but I don't have a stream key for TikTok to integrate it with the rest of my streaming software. I use Streamlabs. So, like, you're not really getting the best view from here. And so I appreciate you being here for sure. Because like, I realize not a lot of people are going to hang out and watch me do this, right? Some will. I have several people that pop in and stay for hours at a time. But most people are like, oh, what's he doing? Oh, that's not all that exciting to watch. But over a long period of time, working on the same project every stream until it's done just demonstrates the grind you have to go through in order to get one of these projects done, right? Which helps demonstrate the labor that goes into them. My favorite thing is when people say, oh, you know, I can do that. It's like, yeah, you absolutely can. And I've done everything I can to set up the app, the Mailworks app, so that anyone can start making chainmail at any time, and, you know, be as good as me very quickly, right? I want people to start, you know, making more chainmail. But the reality is that 99% of people are never going to do any of this, right? It's like, yeah, you can do this, but, you know, you're not gonna. Especially not if you show up to someone's booth and are like, oh, that's... Or if you comment on one of my videos and it's like, oh, what a waste of time. Okay, bye. Ugh. You posting that comment was a waste of your time. Let me tell you that much. It's like I keep working on the same project until they're done, or at least, you know, I try to. I try not to break it up too much. It helps me focus. Right? Like, yeah, I have 3 cubes here right now that I'm working on. And I started this one after I started this one and this one. But this is a paid commission, so I got to get this one done. You know what I mean? But working on them night after night, it's like, yeah, this is a grind. This is the effort it takes into making something like this. And I hope that that means something to whoever ends up purchasing it, because, you know, I spent a lot of time on it. And not everything takes forever. I do quite large projects. You know, most... Let's see here. My 30-pound cube had like $1,200 of supplies in it. And it's a silly thing for me to have purchased and done. Cool that I did it. Right? Like, it's an awesome statement piece. But who knows? Like, it may take me several years to find the right buyer for it. So most people definitely do not make large projects like that. Especially if they're trying to fund a hobby or fund a business. You know? Small projects, less than $20, that use up less than $5 of time and labor. Okay? Or less than $10 of time and labor. You want to be quick, easy to churn out, and you want to be able to make lots of them. And you want them to be stuff that people will buy. Like the person earlier, like early on in the stream, asking for a vest. It's like, I don't have time to stop what I'm doing to make a vest. And the vest that I would make would be very expensive. You know, but there's alternatives. I pointed him in the direction I would go with something like that, and I don't know. I hate to turn down money, but at some point I have to be somewhat responsible and get all the stuff in my basement cleaned up. Mostly so that I can have an excuse to make a bigger mess. There we go. All right, we are seven layers tall now. We got our brass on top, our steel on the bottom, and now we get to add to 2 of these sides here. Right, and I'm just going to do what I did last time. I chose the predominantly brass sides to expand on. Excuse me. Oh, what time is it? It's 10:05. Okay. I'm going to mark these to mark my spots. Oh, let's see here. So the next layer I'm going to add will be predominantly stainless steel. And then I'll put a predominantly brass or predominantly bronze layer over the, so that it stays, these 2 sides will stay predominantly bronze. It's the only way I found to coordinate 2 colors. I think if I had had 3 colors, I could have made this more interesting. But I'm not good with color at all. So it's best to keep it minimal for me. Now, you'll see some other chainmail artists, and you know, there are who was it? Astrid made a rainbow cube. Is it going to be all steel or brass outside, or a mix? So it's going to be all steel on this side, all bronze on this side, and then a mix where it's predominantly bronze on these 2 sides, and then a mix where it's predominantly steel on these 2 sides. So these 2 sides are predominantly steel, these 2 sides are predominantly bronze. That's all steel, that's all bronze. So the 4 sides are a mix, and then... Oh, that was my elbow. That was my other elbow. There wasn't a good way to color coordinate the two colors. But I was like I was saying, Astrid did a whole rainbow cube, and it was awesome. So there are other chainmail artists who are much better with color than I am. Try to keep my stuff fairly simple. Even in my designs on my website, I keep those fairly simple as well. I'm going to add more complexity and more color to them. I would like to do like a rainbow tie-dye effect design for hoodies and jerseys and stuff like that. I think that would be cool. Just haven't had the time to make that one yet. Makes your brain hurt thinking about the color segment? Yeah. It made mine hurt too when I first started this cube. It's like, okay. Oh, and then every time I sit it down, I have to re-figure out what I'm doing. It's been fun. But yeah. Need to do more color stuff, especially on my website. More colorful designs. The world of chainmail is not limited to this, iron gray Hollywood style chainmail that we're used to. It's much more vibrant. And I need to be more representative of that in my clothing. I'm trying to think of what's the most colorful piece I've done that's not like two colors. And I have like some Halloween and some Christmas stuff that had some color in it. I think there's like a Halloween one, a Halloween blanket I did that has a bunch of different colors. That's probably the most colorful one I've done. Or the one with the most number of colors. But color theory eludes me. And I'm not colorblind, I'm just bad at it. It's like, don't ask me to pick out paint for a house. After the paint issues I've dealt with in my life, it's going to be all antique white, top to bottom. It's the only color I'll ever paint again. We painted our house all... every room, different colors down in Texas. And I said never again. Never, ever again. It was just way too much of a hassle. So, that's why when I start throwing money into this house here, if I get the opportunity, I'm gonna... I have a bar over here that the previous homeowner built, and it's cool. It's cool to have a bar in your basement, I guess. We have guests over sometimes and we hang out down there. But where it's at, if I do get the money to redo the basement ever, it's right next to the furnace and the hot water heater, which I want to move to the other side of the house because they're right in the center of the basement and they take up a lot of space. So I would need to move the bar as well in order to open up the basement to where I want. Right? What have I done? I screwed up. Uh-oh. That's okay. I'll just add these over here, I guess. No, I won't. I'm just going to take them off. These are all supposed to be bronze rings. Oops. Quick little fix. Not the worst mistake I've ever made. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. When you have a giant sheet of chainmail that you've been working on and you find out that you skipped a ring and you have to undo a ton, like an entire row. In my Finnegan's Wake inlay, I did that. I had taken out a section. Oh my gosh, these don't like to open rings back up, I guess. I had taken out a section of the Finnegan's Wake inlay and I was busy replacing it, and I screwed up when I replaced it, and I had to take a large row, 2 large rows apart. That was a huge headache. It was like, it wasn't in the middle of the inlay, but it was pretty far down. Of course I can't find the opening of the ring because I closed it so well. There we go. So, trying to think, what other mistakes have I made that were just big headaches? Oh, so there's a couple of weaves that kind of spiral, and I forget what they're called. It's not full Persian. It's not Ferrarscade. It's like a spirally full Persian weave. It's pretty cool. Crap. What is it called? Anyway, when you're making this weave, there's like a left-handed and a right-handed version. And so you get like a foot of length on your chain, and then you screw up and you change from left-handed to right-handed. I've done that, and I had to take the segment I had made off and reweave the whole thing. That was fun. Much more brutal than this. I suppose I have done projects that did not work out, and I ended up scrapping the project and reweaving it into something else. So that's pretty time consuming. So you can, if you're not paying attention, you can screw up, especially when you're using multiple colors. One thing too, if you're making chainmail, try to keep what you're working on your work surface. I keep lifting this up, and I've been doing this for several hours today. But what it's doing is it's causing a lot of pain in my right wrist. And it's like right in here, holding that weight up. And this is, what do we weigh it at? 7 ounces, right? It was 6.9. It's definitely 7 ounces now, which is not a lot of weight, you would think, right? But you pick that up over and over and over again, and yeah, you're gonna hurt yourself. So keep it on your work surface. Just a pro tip from someone who's not a pro. I'm just kind of okay at this. Right. So I'm excited because with the new job, I get it. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll have 4 paychecks before Christmas of extra money, right? which means I could probably buy some ridiculous Christmas presents this year. So that'll be nice. I'm excited. I've been poor for a while, one of the things when you're visiting people's homes to take care of them, this was the worst thing in my last job, is we came across a few people who had infestations. It's like, yeah, no, we can't do anything until that is taken care of. And we get the public health involved and get that individual cleaned up and their living establishment cleaned up. But it's like, you walk into someone's house and it's just foul, you know? It's sad because a lot of them are elderly and they can't take care of themselves and they don't have a support system around them. You got to do what you got to do. You want to help them out, but also you don't want to bring home anything to your house. And I don't know if you guys have ever had to call a exterminator to get rid of, I don't know, say bed bugs or something. But that's where they cover your whole house and fill it up with stuff, exterminator stuff, to get rid of the bed bugs. So not only do you have to have your house exterminated, you got to go find someplace else to stay while it happens. So that's, not fun. So I'm hoping to avoid that as much as possible. It's not, like, it's going to happen. I just got to keep my eye open for it. You don't want to accidentally walk into someone's place that has a situation like that. A lot of these people live in apartments, and when one apartment has an infestation, they all have it, really. It's kind of gross, unfortunately. I lived in Maryland for a while. Oh, actually, speaking of Maryland, a lot of things were firsts for me in Maryland. Like, first Renaissance Festival was the Maryland Renaissance Festival. First hurricane I ever went through was in Maryland. I don't remember what one it was, but it was one that hit the East Coast in 2003, 2004 hurricane season, sometime in there. But that reminds me, anybody have friends or family down in Florida? I noticed that our usual Floridians that come and hang out are not here tonight. I assume that there was one person who posted the general area of where they lived and where the storm, in relation to where the storm was, and it looked like they were going to be having some issues. So, and they're not here tonight, so I am curious how they're doing. Has anybody heard anything from Florida friends and family? I do hope everyone is okay. It's one of those. I went through, let's see here, the hurricane in Maryland. That was pretty much fine. I don't remember losing power or anything. A lot of rain, a lot of flooding. I lived on the main floor, so I didn't have any issues, but the basement of the apartment complex I lived in did not fare so well. And then I went through, I had just gotten back from deployment to Iraq. And Hurricane Katrina had just rolled through and devastated New Orleans. And it was quickly followed up by Hurricane Rita. And, Hurricane Rita went right by Fort Polk, where I was living at the time. Power went out. It was out for like a week. And we're on post They didn't have anything for us to do, so we were on post, like running around, picking up downed trees and whatnot. Called for wasp, went at 400, said nope, came out looking ready to go to the moon, still got stung. Yeah. My dad got attacked by a wasp nest. He was mowing around, he's got a ditch irrigation where he lives, and he was mowing around the ditch, and he aggravated some wasps, and they all came out, and they stung the crap out of him about, I want to say, like 3 years ago now. Oh, feisty buggers. We've got some yellow jackets here by our house, and they keep, we'll be hanging out front, talking to the neighbors and whatnot, and they'll fly right into your face. It's nuts. It's like, give me some space, man. So, but other than that, the crazy thing this year is I have not seen any bees. Not really. We have some flowers in the landscaping in the front of our house, and they are usually covered in bees this time of year, or for the last month they normally would have been, and there's been like no bees out there. So I don't know if it's the yellow jackets or what. We did have a huge, it's not a paper wasp, but they do nest like paper wasps. So when our AC went out, our AC is in between our house and the neighbor's house. And up in the eaves of my neighbor's roof was this giant wasp's nest. And we had to get that taken out before the technician came out to work on the AC unit to put a new one in. But yeah, no real bee sightings this year. I don't know what's going on. Usually we have a lot. Oh, here's another first for Maryland. Maryland was the first time I ever spun out of control in a car. I was in like a 1976 Datsun little sports car, rear-wheel drive, driving around, going from someone's apartment to my apartment or something. And I was going to turn left, and the roads were real slick. Is a stick shift, and rear wheels spun out, and I did a freaking, what do you call it? I did a 360 in the middle of the intersection, hit the median, and then was able to drive off. Damn, like a football-sized nest up in the eaves of my neighbor's roof. Had some carpenter bees angry for covering the wood. Yeah, we had the deck that is falling apart behind my house that I need to get fixed. We had some carpenter bees back there, and then took some silicone and plugged up a bunch of the holes, and we didn't have nearly as many this year, but just no honeybees, anywhere is weird. Those carpenter bees are funny. They don't sting you or anything, but they'll dive bomb you if you get too close. And so they'll just be sitting there hovering, and you'll like walk up to them, and then they'll take off, and next thing you know, they're like right by your face. So we did have a few of those earlier on in the summer, and the corgi would let him in the backyard, and he'd be out on the back deck chasing carpenter bees. Got a whole backyard full of honeybees living in the ground. Nice. We had a swarm down in Texas land on our tree, our lone tree in the backyard. And I got close trying to take pictures of it, and I got stung right in the middle of my forehead. And we posted, where it was on Facebook somewhere, and a guy from the neighborhood down the road, it was a very rural area, so you have like these subdivisions built off this rural road. So a guy from a neighborhood, like 2 neighborhoods down or something, came and boxed him up and took off with him. Put him in a, like, got him a hive and knocked him down to into the hive, and then left it open for a few hours and came back and put the top on, taped it up, and drove off with him. That was cool. I'd never, just hoping to say hi, just hopping on to say hi. I heard bee, got stung today, but by a wasp. Yeah, no, that's no good. How you doing, Amy? And hello, good evening. Hope you're doing well. We're going a little late tonight. It's near 10:30. I haven't been stung this year, knock on wood. You've seen people collect swarms briefly. We're working on the 7th layer of this cube here. It's coming along. Doing okay otherwise than having been stung. I know people got all kinds of remedies for stings, like putting baking soda paste on top of a sting and letting it dry. I don't know if any of those work. It's one of those things that's like, is it an old wives' tale? Is it worth exploring? So they collect the swarms and bring them to a honey farms? You had a finger glitch on screen? Yeah. That'll happen. Man. Oh, gosh. Okay, so now that I've dealt with some stainless steel in this 18 standard wire gauge, 1/8 of an inch size, right? Just the weight of it is so. This one's now a little bigger than this aluminum one. This steel and bronze one is slightly larger, but I mean, it's tremendously heavier. So now that I've done that, I really want to make an all steel one. It's like I have important things to do that I need to get done before I do that. I need to remind myself of that. Amy, what were you doing out and about that you got stung by a wasp? Or were you just like hanging out on your porch and just got stung? Your copper is your copper is the heaviest one of all your cubes. Right on. You know, that's a material I've never played with. I've never played with copper. Brass, bronze, stainless steel, sterling, sterling silver, fine silver, aluminum, titanium, niobium. I've never used copper. You're getting into your car to leave from work and it flew and it stung you and flew out. Oh no. That's awful. It's like, hey, you're just about to go home and relax. How about you don't? Oh. You want to oxidize your copper cube? Okay, so I know that for silver, right, you can put it in liver of sulfur. Does that work on copper as well? I don't know how to patina copper, but a patinaed copper cube would be awesome. Brass and bronze do not tarnish pretty. They just look dirty. What am I doing? This ring does not go here. So I've seen some really cool sterling wire wrapped pieces that were dropped in some liver of sulfur. And it just makes them this kind of rustic oxidized gray. Same, you put the copper and liver of sulfur. Excuse me. That's cool. There's a lot of fun little tips and tricks to make your pieces unique when you're working with metals, and you can't help but learn them over time if you stick to the hobby long enough. Like, I have friends who okay, so I have friends who make chainmail, I have friends who do wire wrapping, and then I have a friend who does this roller plate silver work, and she makes the dies and sells the dies to people. What gauge wire do you use for cubes and what inner diameter? So these are 18 gauge standard wire gauge, 1/8 of an inch ID inner diameter. And the particular ring size is like what the measurement that you really want is the aspect ratio. And the aspect ratio for cubes is these are 2.6. I've seen people say that 2.55 to 2.75 is really good for cubes. If you anodize aluminum, can it be unanodized or it just stays colorful? It stays colorful, but it definitely fades, right? So, okay, like in a static piece like my big Finnegan's Wake inlay that I did, it's not going to be in sunlight. It's not going to be touching someone's skin. It's going to be hanging up on a wall. So the color from that should never really rub off in any way. For pieces of like costume jewelry that people make, it can stay, depending on your body, it can stay very colorful for a long period of time, depending on how often you wear it. But the rings rubbing up against each other will rub that anodized layer off over time. And it will still stay that color. It will just be very faded and rubbed off. Right? But for inlays, for sculptures, for stuff like that, yeah, it shouldn't have any issue keeping its color. Same with anodized titanium and anodized niobium. It's not a permanent color change. It's just the most permanent color change. And I'm not an expert. This is what I understand. I've heard people say otherwise, but my understanding is that, and I've experienced this, is that the anodization will rub off. No matter the metal. But for things like titanium and niobium, you can just reanodize them. Aluminum is a electrochemical process that involves dyes and acid washes and stuff like that. I've never done it, so take what I say with a grain of salt. So I actually don't know if I'm sure you can reanodize aluminum, but it's a lot more work than just the electroanodization of titanium and niobium. Cool, so it'll look battle ready. Yeah, there you go. Little scuffed up. Plenty of people make shirts, and I've seen like trench coat, cloak style things. Plenty of people have done it, and they used anodized aluminum as either part of it for decoration or made the whole thing out of anodized aluminum. And, you know, the wear and tear on it is going to depend on how much you wear it. You want to try torching stainless steel, but you're going to work with your inline ice, your stung face? Your luck lately. All right, Amy, you have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Good luck with the sting. Feel better. And, yeah, torching stainless steel would be cool. My understanding of that is even less hardy, less tough than anodizing any other metal. But it's stainless steel, so you can reapply the torching, I guess. And I've seen people discolor copper, too, with a torch. I don't know how well that works. But yeah, tips and tricks that you pick up over time if you stay working in this field long enough. Or if you stay working with, metal. Or probably or probably whatever industry you're in. I cannot talk. I'm not having a stroke. Knock on wood. It's pretty. Torching stainless? Yeah, it's cool. Have a good night. Nice to see you. Or chat with you. Alright. Okay. Alright, it's already 10:40. Screw it. We'll just keep going until 11. We'll make it 3 hours. I didn't mean to stream this long. But I got so wrapped up in working on this cube and chatting. It does happen. And my kid doesn't have to go to bed until 11, so I don't have to. I would just be sitting at the table scrolling on TikTok if I wasn't doing this. Is stainless strong like regular steel? Stronger, right? So there's like mild steel that you'll find, or galvanized steel, and stainless is stronger than both of them. Is it the strongest steel? No, not necessarily. Each alloy has its different properties. Excuse me, but it's plenty strong. And it's, it's stainless, meaning that it doesn't rust, but, given the right conditions, it will absolutely rust. That was one of the things I didn't do while I had the cabinet under the sink emptied out. All of the cutoff valves for the water pipes in my house had plastic inside. So all the cutoff valves to the toilets and the faucets and everything else had a plastic interior, and all of them had to be cut off and replaced with heavier duty cutoff valves, right? But the one thing I didn't do while I was under the sink was replace the cutoff valve to the dishwasher. And I should have, but because I had the parts and I was right there, but the cutoff valve has a stainless stainless wrapped tube going to the dishwasher. So I got the tube and the cutoff valve. I was going to replace them, and then I was like, okay, the faucet's working. We can turn the water back on. It's been, 2 days now. I'm tired. Actually, my back is still killing me from being, on my back with my arms over my head, replacing all that crap. Right? So, if your stainless is under your sink, resting in leaky water, then yeah, it'll rust, right? In the right condition, stainless will rust. But it's mostly rust resistant. And it's stainless rings like to stay where they are. So once you've closed them, they don't like to open back up, which is a nice feature for butted rings. But yeah, they're plenty strong for, I'd say, 90% of all your chainmail projects, If you're getting into live action role play, or Buhurt or HEMA, I'd definitely not use butted rings. But if you're using like stainless riveted rings, even mild steel riveted rings, as long as the connection on the ends of the rings is really strong, most of that is kind of immaterial as far as alloy and strength qualities. It's the closure that keeps the ring in place that protects you. So I like to use stainless steel. I've used stainless steel for all my shirts and my motorcycle vest and these juggling balls. This is stainless steel. They're filled with glow-in-the-dark beads. They're like glow-in-the-dark airsoft BBs, but they don't glow in the dark very well, or at least I haven't gotten them to. And I've tried like a black light to charge them up, but yeah, it is what it is. They're juggling balls, and I can't juggle, so yeah. I would sell them to a juggler on Juggle Talk or whatever, but I can't get these rings again. It's kind of a one-off project, right? The weave I used to make them is called Trinity, and I can't get these rings again, and so I'm just going to keep them, even though I can't juggle and they're not round, and I don't know. They're very unique. But that's about it. There's not a project I've done where... Well, no, that's not true. Like, I made a Sporan. A Sporan is a bag that hangs from your belt in front of you when you wear a kilt. Most of the time, it is made from leather and might have a fancy cantle or might have like long horsehair. But when you see guys in kilts with a bag, right, covering their groin, that is a Sporan or a Sporan. I don't know how to pronounce it. And I made one of those out of stainless steel. And it was very heavy. They were square wire rings. And it was a very dense weave that I used. It was cool, but you couldn't move in it. Because what would happen is you'd get you'd get hit in places you don't want to get hit with heavy metal objects. So I have I vowed to make the attempt again to make a Sporan out of chainmail. A day or two in the sun might give them a small glow. They sit in front of a window, right? And so, like, the sun's on them all day long. And I've never come downstairs and seen them glowing. Not that they're not. I don't know. Don't know. They have a slight glow. It's just like I couldn't turn off the lights in here and have you be able to see the glow. Not really well anyway. But yeah, so I did use stainless steel to make a Sporan. It failed because it was too heavy and it was very uncomfortable to try and walk in. So that, that was one project that got torn apart and turned into something else. Actually got turned into a beer growler cover. So that's cool. So I have this 64-ounce beer growler covered in chainmail. So I've never taken it anywhere to get it filled up. I should do that one day. Come on. All right. Did this words are hard right now. Did the Sporan work like a coin purse? I mean, that's essentially what it's for. It's for you to hold stuff, because kilts don't have pockets. Most of them, anyway. Utilakilts have pockets, which I've wanted a Utilikilt for years. Never had. Maybe that's what I should do if I have some extra money. After all of these projects, I should buy myself a Utilikilt. Utilakilts have pockets, but, no other kilts have pockets. Usually you'll have like a belt pouch and then a Sporan, and it functions as a place to put your cell phone and your wallet and your keys. And they make really nice ones out there. I've never had a reason to buy one. It's always just been me trying to make one out of chainmail, I'm gonna mark this side. This is the side I'm working on, right? Yes. Kilts are one of those things. They're fun to wear. Kind of a in a place where I live, somewhat rural, small town. It's it wouldn't be worth it just because how many people would bother you about it. You know what I mean? People who don't have the confidence to go out and wear a kilt, who think that, oh, you're wearing a skirt. It's like, no, it's a traditional garment that has purpose, and function in today's world. So I haven't pursued it. It's a hobby, right? Wearing a kilt is a hobby that costs a lot of money. Okay, because there's so much involved in making a kilt, from the tartan to sewing a kilt the right way. They get quite expensive. Like my kilt was like $400. Right. Made a pouch out of leather, but it was a bit bulky and square. Yeah. Yeah, I've never tried a leather pouch. I should. My leather work needs a lot of work. I've got a lot of tools. I have a lot of plans. I need to work through this backlog of stuff that I have and then just start making stuff. And I need some more. I need some bigger tools. Like I need a drill press, and I need some nips, and I need I want several other smaller desktop tools to improve my metalwork. So, I don't know. I'll get there. Slowly but surely. Large chainmail sculptures and really cool other stuff. Alrighty. That is half a row there. I need to finish this side. So we are working on these two sides here. I need to add another layer here and 2 layers here. And then we'll be at 7 all around. So what did we go from? We finished layer 6 and we started layer 7, and we've been at this for 3 hours. Right? And I haven't really taken a break or anything. I've been weaving rings the whole time. So I want everyone to understand just how long this stuff takes. Right? The end result is awesome, but you have to put in the time to get there. So, and there's plenty of smaller stuff that doesn't take thousands of rings that you can make, right? I just don't typically make those things because one of the things I want to do is do streams where I'm following tutorials and making kits on stream so that you get the kit. I'll have the tutorial and the ring sizes here. That information I won't share with anyone because it's proprietary to whoever made the tutorial. But I'll make it on camera and then show you what I made. And that, that stuff's a lot quicker, right? Love kilts. They're beautiful. Yeah. They got some really cool tartans out there. Rocky from USA Kilts is a friend of mine. If you're looking for kilts or apparel or like formal Scottish wear, check out usakilts.com. The owner's name's Rocky. I forget his last name. But, yeah. Friend of mine on Facebook. Cool dude. Goes live on TikTok like all the time. And they talk about tartans and different historical aspects of Scotland and whatnot. It's cool. It's a good channel to follow if you're into kilts. For anybody who sees this and is like, oh, I want one of those. Best way to go about getting one of these fun little fidget toy deals is to make your own. And you can, right? Let's see here. I think that this isn't working. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a space in here. No, that's probably the wrong place. Okay, I put a space in this link. But there's no space, right? Does that pop up? I don't see it on my screen. Maybe I have it so that you can't send links. Huh. Dang it. No wonder that's not... Okay. I need to put my link tree back in my regular TikTok profile. It's on all my other social medias. So if you see this and you think, hey, I want to make one of those or I want one of these, you can make one yourself. Best way to go about it is go to any of my other social medias and find my link tree. It's linktr.ee/Mailworks, my username, right? And in there you'll find the Mailworks web app. You don't have to download anything. You can just open it up, and it's got all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started. You can check out, there's a little Amazon affiliate shop in there, and you can go through there, click on some pliers. I definitely recommend Xuron 483s. These newer Xurons are coming. They got the big foam handles, but I definitely recommend at least starting with these. Okay, because these, I don't know how big your hands are. These are almost too large for my hands, right? So I have small hands for a guy. Okay. So check out these in the link tree. What else? Follow me on all my socials. Everywhere. Same username everywhere. Right? The best way to support this channel is to go to my website. It's myusername.com, mailworks.com, and purchase something. Any of the chainmail themed apparel and accessories that you pick out, you can get 20% off by using discount code LIVESTREAM, all one word, all lowercase. So go to my website, pick out something that you fall in love with, and use discount code LIVESTREAM and get 20% off. Other than that, it is 11 o'clock my time. I probably went too long tonight, but that's fine. We got a lot done. We're going to keep chugging along on these projects, and stay tuned. We'll make cooler, more awesome stuff later on as well. So if, like, I appreciate everyone for hanging out, just chilling with me, watching me make this stuff. If you're like, hey, I want to go do something else for a bit, come back and check on our progress. Right? Please. Come back and say hi. All right, I'm going to get out of here. You all have a wonderful evening. Have a good weekend. Be safe. And I will probably see you tomorrow night. I've been streaming, trying to make my streams longer. It was 8:30 to 10 most nights of the week. Lately, I've been starting at 8. But we'll see how long that goes once I start work. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll just play it by ear. All right, you all have a wonderful evening. Okay? Bye. Mm-hmm.